So I just came here and I went to the uh, community edition link which I shared in the chart. Okay, then when you scroll down you will have the my trials link will be there. Okay, so you need to go to the software my trials. In the my trials you will be able to see the community edition. You just need to click on the wake up button. It will take maybe 5 minutes. I've been 5 or 10 minutes there. Then it will wake up. So once you wake up you can open that community edition. So good thing is whatever you have done in the before, that will be there till, you can see here, August 3rd, because I have started this on July 3rd, so that's the reason it is there till August 3rd. So without any issues of backup and all that, I can keep on practicing the sessions that are happened in Pega decisioning in the community edition without any issues. Okay, yeah. So again, it might take some few minutes or some time. Just stay tuned and check the status. Keep checking the status here.
So Ravi, in the community edition also we have the CDH framework.
We don't need CDH framework for Pega decisioning. Okay, you don't need any separate framework for Pega decisioning. So that is what I was telling since before. In person edition also you can practice it. Okay, because all the concepts that we are going to learn, they will be present in Pega marketing mainly. So what I mean to say is whatever the decisioning concepts are there, like the models and adaptive models, Cassandra database, everything will be there in personal edition and also in community edition. Just we don't know how to explore, that's it. We just need to explore them because they are already there. Okay, the scorecard, whatever strategies, all these things are there in the community edition and personal edition also. Just we need to explore them and find out how to use them. Okay, so this is where you can see. Okay, you can just try to log in and check that link and see if you can access that or not. So now let us proceed with the strategy thing. Before that I need to again create the thing because I have lost it. So quickly I will create one business issue and one business group and some propositions and few properties. Then we will see how we can use them in the strategy. So that is what we are going to learn today. So this is like a recap for you so that you can also understand. So right now I'm creating the business structure. As part of business structure I'm creating the business issue again. So this is sales. Now let us create a business group. So I'm creating the business group. For example, I'll call it as credit cards. Under sales business issue I'm creating credit cards. Now under credit cards we'll create the propositions. So I'm just adding two propositions manually. So I'll add the first proposition as uh, Mastercard. Okay, I'm just adding as Mastercard, and I'm adding one more as Visa card. So we will add the fields also here. Let us use the custom form directly. Okay, so I'm just not repeating because we have already seen all these things yesterday, so I'm not repeating anything again. So I'm using the custom attributes here. So let us add some radio buttons like that. So let us add something like a drop down. So I'll call it like applicable customer type, applicable customer type. So that means this particular credit card can be promoted to which types of customer. That is what I'm giving here. So I'm giving some fields like uh, basic, premium, gold, like that, and we'll save. Same way, let us add one more field. I will add some field like a text input. Let us add some field, something like monthly MI. So we'll take this as a uh, decimal, or let us keep it as integer for now. So now we have added these two properties, that is monthly MI and applicable customer type. So if you go back to the save this, and so very important thing, whenever you are adding the fields also, make sure that you add the field here whatever you have created. So I have added monthly MI, and one more field is applicable customer type. So these two fields I have created, so I'm just adding those here. And then we go to the data category, then Visa card. So I'm selecting basic for this, and let us say I'm selecting 50,000 as for Visa card, and Mastercard I'm selecting, let us say 8,000. Okay, so monthly EMI for Mastercard is 8,000. For Visa card it is 50,000. So that's what I have given. So now we have just some basic sample structure we have for credit cards. Now let us explore the strategies. So all these things we have done already. So I'm just creating so that you can have a recap of what we have done. So we can create the business issues, that is the purpose of the promotion, business groups, that is a category of the promotion, then the attributes, which are the characteristics of the proposition, and then we have created a custom form so that you can have all the drop downs and radio buttons and all that in the form tab. The form tab I have created a custom form. So now let us create the strategy. I'm going to the records explorer and decision category, strategy. Okay, so again you can also, yeah, I'll try to see. Okay, I'm just creating a new strategy here. So I'll just see once again if the server can be up or not. Okay, so I'm just clicking on the create button, and we will create our first strategy. So I'm calling this as first strategy. So now what is the strategy results class? So this strategy results class will determine whether what is the output of the strategy, right? So that output of the strategy will be determined by this strategy results class. So that means, see, for example, in your strategy, if you are defining this strategy, see, basically what does a strategy do? Strategy is actual decision maker. Okay, for entire Pega decisioning, strategy is the actual decision maker. That means whatever the output that is coming from the strategy, that is the next best action that will be communicated with the customers. Okay, strategy is the decision maker in Pega decisioning, and for a given customer, strategy will only decide what offer we need to send. Okay, strategy will only decide what offer we need to send. So we will use several components which are there in the strategy in order to understand how does the strategy will decide the logic. Okay, how does the strategy will decide the logic. So CDH is open here. So in Pega CDH, right? In Pega CDH portal, you can create the strategies from intelligence category here. Your voice is breaking. Someone is talking. Okay. So like I told you, right? All the Pega decisioning concepts we can create in the Pega Dev Studio also. Okay, in Pega Dev Studio, like what I did, I gone to decision category and strategy. So all our Pega decisioning topics are present in the decision category. You see here, I have adaptive model, predictive model, strategy, proposition filter. So all these are part of Pega decisioning only. They are present under decision category in the Pega Dev Studio. That is in the personal edition also it will be there. Now the same thing you can also create from CDH portal also under intelligence strategies. This is where you can create the strategies from the CDH portal. Okay. So just you need to go to the intelligence strategies, then you can start creating a new strategy. Then you can start creating a new strategy here. So while creating the strategy, we have to select the applies to class as customer class here. Okay, right now I don't have customer class, I'm just selecting some work class. But here if you see, I'm just clicking on the create button and I'm just saying start with new canvas. So generally, where do we keep the strategies means in the context class. See, but for example, if your main focus on customer promotion, you will keep your strategy in customer class. For example, you are going to promote the logic to social media fans context. Then you need to keep your strategy in the social media fans class. Okay, so every time whatever the context to whom you are promoting, in that class you have to keep the strategy. Okay, in that class you have to keep the strategy. So for example, I'm just giving here first strategy or demo strategy, I'm giving the name here. So here you need to give your context class. So we know already that when you are creating the application, the context dictionary has already created the context classes, right? It has already created the context class. So you can select that context class which is there in your context dictionary. Now coming to the strategy results, what do we need to select here? So if at all you are designing the strategy logic that will use the propositions in different groups and different issues, then you don't need to select anything. For example, this strategy logic that you are going to build is specific only to credit cards, then you need to select the appropriate issue and appropriate group. Okay, so let us see what happens. Let us say I'm selecting here grow and credit cards. That means this strategy which I am creating has the logic only for grow and credit cards, not for other groups and other issues. So you see, I'm selecting the grow and credit cards while creating this. So let's see what happens. Same thing here also. Okay, same thing here also. So here we have only one issue, right? Sales and credit cards. So now this is how the strategy canvas looks like. This is called as strategy canvas, and you can add the components in order to design your logic. Now I can import the propositions by clicking on the plus button, import propositions. Okay. Now for example, if I double click on this, if I double click on this, see I cannot select any other issue and other group. You see here, the business issue and business group is disabled to grow and create cards. There is no option to there is no option to change it. So we are defining the strategy results class as CDH dash SR dash grow dash credit cards. So the strategy results class is predefined. It will be predefined. Okay, it will be predefined. So since while creating the strategy, I have selected grow and credit cards. So once you create the strategy with that particular selection, with that particular strategy results, you can again cannot change it. Okay, you can again cannot change it, and the scope of your strategy will be to use only the propositions that are there in this business issue and business group. That's it. You cannot use anything else. Okay, you cannot use anything else because they will be disabled. Okay, so when you are selecting while creating the strategy, you have to decide as a decisioning consultant whether this strategy logic will use propositions from other issues and other groups, or this strategy is purely for this particular group only. Then you can go ahead and select that. But if you are going to use the propositions from other issues and other groups also, then better not to select anything. Okay, now for example, I'm just saving this one. So now we have seen by creating by selecting grow and credit cards, right? Now we'll see what happens without selecting. So I'm just going to the intelligence strategies. Okay, and I'll just create again a new canvas. So I'm just saying demo strategy 2. So this time I'm not selecting any business issue and any business group, and always you need to keep your strategies in your context class. So we know while creating application, the application has already created the customer class and other classes also. So you can go to the context dictionary and check what is the class name. Okay, if you don't know the class name, you can check it there. So this time I'm not selecting anything. Okay, this time I'm not selecting anything. Now I will import the propositions again. So you can see now I can select the propositions from different issues and different groups. You see here, you see I'm able to select the propositions from different issues here. Yeah, of course propositions are not there, but I can select it, right? I can select the other issues and other groups. All those things I can do. So like this, I can use the propositions from different issues and different groups. Okay, so it all depends on while creating the strategy, what strategy results you have selected. So that selection will decide the scope of your strategy. Okay, so this selection will decide the scope of your strategy, whether your strategy is only only till grow and credit cards. You see here, grow and credit cards, you are selecting this. If you are not selecting this, then you can use from other issues and other groups also. Clear? Understood? Any questions? Okay, so let us do the same thing here. So what I am doing right now, I am creating the first strategy, and let us keep this in this class for now. But in real time, you have to keep it in your context class. Okay, because this strategy is going to promote to this table, this customer table, this customers. If your strategy is going to promote to some other context, then keep this strategy in that particular context class. Okay, so now I'm just keeping this strategy as sales and credit cards. And now let us proceed with the create and open. Okay, so now this is how the strategy canvas looks like. This is called as a strategy canvas. Okay, this is called as a strategy canvas. So you can add the components to the canvas in order to define the logic. Okay, in order to define the logic, you can add the components to the canvas. You can add the components by clicking on the plus button and selecting the appropriate component, or you can also add the component to the canvas by right click adding the components. So like you can see, I'm just right click import proposition data. So which one is comfortable for you, you can use that way, no restriction on that. But you can add the components by these two options. So let us add the basic component that we generally use for every strategy, that is importing the propositions. See, the overall purpose of having a strategy is to decide the next best action for every customer. Okay, for a given customer, we have to decide what is the next best action. For example, a customer with annual income less than 2000 or less than $5,000 is not eligible for a credit card. A customer with annual income greater than $50,000 eligible for a premium credit card. So this kind of logic is there. You can do that in the strategy itself. So I'm just importing the propositions here. I just came to import proposition data. Then I added this one. Now you can double click on this. So I'm just saying import all propositions. You can also do import one proposition also like this. For example, you can import one proposition and you can submit that. Okay. So right now I'm saying import all propositions. So, and I'm connecting to the results. See, this is same like a process flow. Okay. If you have already worked on process flow, you know like how to connect the components. The same way we are doing here also. Okay. Same way we are doing here also. You just need to connect the components from left to right, and the execution happens from left to right. Okay, same like in process flow, you have a mini map here. Using this mini map, I can navigate through the strategy, or I can zoom it or unzoom it. That also I can do. Now there is also two types of modes are there. The first one is called select mode. So with select mode, I can select the components like this. I can select the components like this, and I can also select the components like this. Okay, I can also select the components like this. There is one more mode called pan mode. So this is the pan mode, which is hand icon. So when I select the pan mode, instead of selection, I can use the to move the strategy canvas. Okay, so that is used to move the strategy canvas left and right, up and down. That is what we will use for the pan mode. Okay, so you can see I'm just selecting this, and I can, for example, if you are having lot of components, you can select this component and select this pan mode, and you can move the strategy up and down like this. Okay, clear till here? Any questions? Okay, so by default, whatever the output that is coming in the results, right, those are the final output of the strategy. Okay, every component will come to the results. Every component should be connected to the results. I mean, whatever the final output is there, that should be coming to the results, so that the output of the strategy will be given to you. Now let us run this strategy and see how do we get the results. So I have not done any logic. Basically what I have done is I have created the strategy. Okay, I have created the strategy. Okay, so I don't see anyone asking any queries. So I'm assuming that everyone is
Ravi,
clear.
Ravi, one
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
This strategy should be like always in a customer context class, or like now I see this is in work class. So
Yeah. To
any
whichever
reasons why we go for
whichever
customer?
context, yeah, whichever context you are creating, you have to keep it in that class. So since this application don't have customer class, I kept it there. But that's the reason I have showed you here that we have to create it in the context class. So mainly, when whichever is your primary context, to that class only you will be promoting more. So most of the time your strategy will be in the customer class only, because that is your primary context in this application. So in your application, whatever is the primary context, you can go to the context dictionary and check what is the primary context class, and you can create the strategy in that class only. Because basically to which audience you are promoting, in that class you have to keep the strategy as a best practice. So there is no harm in keeping in other classes also, but the general practice is doing that way. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like this you have to keep, okay, in the customer class. So now what I have done, I have just imported the propositions and I have connected to the results. Now let us see how do we run the strategy. So in order to run the strategy, you just need to click on this left arrow panel. Okay. So remember this thing, in order to run the strategy, you have to click on this left icon. Okay, this left icon you have to click on this. Then you have to click on the save and run button. So there are two options to run a strategy. The first option is called single case. The second option is called batch run. Okay. So first option is called as a single case. Second option is called as a batch run. See, basically case in strategy means customer. Okay. So remember this thing, in Pega decisioning, case means customer or audience record. So generally in most of the time it will be customer. So that's the reason I'm saying single case means single customer. Okay. So that means in order to run the strategy, I need to click on this left icon, and I can run the strategy with a single customer or batch. Batch means multiple customers. So strategy can be executed with a single customer, or strategy can be executed with a multiple customers. So we'll see how do we do this in the coming sessions. We'll be seeing that. But as of now, let us explore how we are getting the results. So you can see now I ran the strategy and I am getting the results now. So first result is, you see, this is the results in the first strategy. Total two results are there. Total two results are there. First result, output is what? Output is Mastercard. Second result, output is Visa card. Okay. See, again we did not keep any logic. Whatever credit cards are there, all those credit cards we are sending it to the results. That's it. So that's the reason, since we have two credit cards, one Mastercard and one Visa card, both of them are coming in the output. And along with that, you are also getting whatever the attributes that you kept in the proposition, right? You see here, monthly EMI, applicable customer type. So that is also coming in the output. Even for the first result also you can see monthly EMI 8,000, applicable customer type basic. So whatever you have kept in the credit cards, the same thing is coming in the strategy also. Okay, you see here monthly EMI 8,000, applicable customer type 8,000, basic. So it is very important that whatever fields that you are creating in the custom form or in the SR class, you have to add the fields here. If you don't add the fields, for example, I am deleting these two fields from here, then the strategy will not be able to consume those properties. So you see now, when I ran the strategy, both the monthly EMI and applicable customer type, both of them are gone. So basically these results are getting the values from this form tab. Okay, from this form tab only the fields will be coming. So make sure that any field that you create in the section or in the SR class, wherever it is, finally you have to add those fields in the form tab. Okay, here you have to add them. Then only, not only strategy, wherever you are using this proposition, all of them can pick up these properties. Applicable customer type. So this is one, and uh, second one is monthly EMI rate. Okay, both the fields now we are adding. Okay, both the fields I'm adding, and I'm clicking on save. Okay, I'm clicking on save. Now if you see here, right now I don't have those two fields, right? Monthly EMI and applicable customer type is not there. Now when I click on save and run again, now those two fields are also coming again. Okay, so whatever the fields that you add in the form tab, then only you will be able to use those fields outside of the business group, right? In strategies or data flows, in wherever you want, you can use those fields whenever you added those fields in the form tab. Now let us see one more component, which is called annotations. So just like in your activities, you can write the description of the step, right? So for example, you are creating a activity, right side you will have the description of the particular step, you will enter the description. Same way in data transform also, you can write a comment. Whatever you are doing, you will write a comment, right? Which will describe what changes you have done, right? Which will describe what changes you have done. So that is just a best practice, not a mandatory thing. Same way in strategy also, you can describe whatever the changes that you have done as a best practice. So that is a best practice which will be very useful for other people and for yourself also in later time. So in order to do that, you can right click and say annotation. So this annotation component is just used for describing the changes that you have done in the strategy. This is not part of the logic. This is not part of the logic. This is just like a comment or some description of what you have done. So for example, I'll say something like imported all propositions, all credit cards without any logic. That's what I'm doing, writing here, right? Imported all credit cards without any logic. So this will help the other developers and other decisioning consultants to understand what you have done. That's it. Apart from that, nothing it will do. Okay, just a description of small description, like a one statement or two statement descriptions of what you have done. Again, this is only good practice, but even if you don't write also, that's fine. It all depends on your agreement with your LDA, whether you want to use this or not. Okay, so just you need to right click annotation and you can add it wherever you want. So this is the logic that I have done. So that's the reason I'm just keeping this statement here. Now let us see one more component, the last component for today before we close, so that otherwise it will be overloaded. So that is called as filter component. Okay, I'm going to the arbitration filter component. See, as you keep on using these components, right, you will only remember which component is present under which category. Okay, when you keep on practicing, you will only remember which component is present under which category. Okay, so right now, okay, okay, yeah, all right. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just adding the filter component. So what does a filter component will do? The filter component is used to filter the, it is coming like this. Yeah, just some, I'm just right click delete. Yeah, so the filter component is used to filter the incoming results based on the condition. So that means, see, that means, for example, let us say you want the results only which are having EMI greater than 10,000. So at the time you can do the filter, see, basic filter, right? What you will do with filter, for example, you can use a filter to remove all the impurities, right? Same way, that is what the filter will do. So what I'm doing here, I'm just saying filter, and I will say here dot monthly EMI greater than 15,000 I'm giving. Okay, I'm just saying here uh, output only uh, above 15,000 EMI, something like that. I'm just giving some requirement like this. So that means whichever credit cards have the monthly EMI above 15,000, only those results I am sending it to the result shape. Okay, only those propositions I am sending it to the result shape. So that is what the filter will do. The filter will output only the results that will satisfy this condition. Okay, so the filter will output only the results that will satisfy this condition. Whichever the incoming results that will not satisfy this condition, it will not give. Only the results that will satisfy this condition, only that will be coming in the output of the filter. So that is what the filter will do. So now for example, again we'll run the strategy. So what I will do, I'll just click on this icon, save and run. So now you see I have got only one result, that is Visa card. Okay, that is Visa card. And you see what is the monthly EMI of Visa card? 50,000. Okay, Visa card monthly EMI is 50,000. So it is outputting only the results which are having monthly EMI greater than 15,000, which is Visa card, which is having 50,000 as a monthly EMI. Clear? Any questions still here?
Ravi, what is that use custom option when you click on filter?
Which one? This one.
Yeah.
So this is actually the component name. For every component, you will have this option. So for example, generally this component name or the component ID will be decided based on the name that you entered here automatically. Same like, say for example, whenever you are creating some strategy or anything, right? Whatever the name that you give, that will be the description, right? Same way here also. Whatever the name that you enter here, that will be the component ID. But instead of whatever you are entering here, if you want the same component ID, if you want some other custom component ID, you can select this option and you can do that. For example, I will give here CC, something like that, and I submit. Okay, so then the description of this component will be CC. Okay, the description of this component will be CC. Just a description. Okay, just a description, nothing like anything. Okay, so that's the description of the component. So when you say use generated, that means whatever you are entering in the name, with that name only the ID will be there, and also the description will also be the same thing only. Okay, description will also be this only. But if you want some other description, for example, I'm saying something like custom. I'm saying like uh, to filter all credit cards above 15,000. Okay, so again, this is also one way of describing what this component will do. Okay, see for example, if you are saying use generated, then here you are saying output above 15,000. What is this? No one can understand, right? No one can understand. But whenever some other person is coming to this strategy and he wants to understand what you are doing here, then you can give some custom description for that component, so that whenever he opens, right, he can see, okay, we are filtering the credit cards with above 15,000 monthly EMI. This is what we are doing, like that he can understand. So for that purpose we are keeping this custom description. Other than that, nothing, no other use. So by using the annotation, by using the custom description, we will be able to describe the changes that we are doing here. Because right now these components are very simple components, but there are other components which are complex and difficult to understand also. So at the time you need to provide the proper description and proper understanding for other people to work on this, right? So that's what we are doing here. Okay, got it? Yeah, just a description of what this component will do so that others can understand. Okay, now we are getting the expected output, that is the uh, visa card. So for example, you might be getting a doubt. See, for example, in our activity or data transform, let us say there are 10-20 steps are there. Somewhere you are getting a wrong output. So what you will do, you will do a trace, yeah, right? You will do a tracing, and in the tracer, you will check like in which step the activity is giving the wrong value, right? In the tracer you can do. But how do we debug the strategy? Because in the tracer you don't see any component. Okay, in tracer if you use strategies, right, you'll only see something like strategy started, strategy ended, like that. That's it. Okay, you will not see each and every component in the tracer. You will not see that. Okay, now how do we trace or how do we debug a strategy? For example, right now I'm getting visa card, but let us say due to some reason that is not the expected outcome. That is not the expected outcome. I have some 20 to 30 components are there in the strategy. I want to know where the component has been changed, where the output has been changed. I want to do some debugging. So the only way of debugging the strategy is by clicking on each and every component. So the advantage of having the strategy and debugging is more easy by clicking on the component. So the output of the strategy, the output will be there on each and every component in the strategy. That means, see, when I'm clicking on this, the output are two results are there. Okay, first result is MasterCard, second result is Visa card. Now when I came to the filter, there is only one result, Visa card. So that means the strategy for every component that you have, the output of that strategy will be displayed whenever you click on that particular component. Okay, so when I'm clicking on this component, there are two outputs are there. When I'm clicking on this component, there is only one output. So that means something we are doing here. That is how you need to debug. Okay, so in order to trace the strategy or in order to debug the strategy, whenever you are getting incorrect output or invalid output, you need to click on the component to see the output of that particular component. So then like this you will keep, for example, same way, when I come to the final results, I am expecting monthly EMI as 2000, but I am getting the output as 50,000. So somewhere it is getting changed, right? So you need to click on the each and every component and you need to see that particular component's output. So that okay, in this component the output is fine. I'll click on the next component. So then what is output on that component? So there it is 2000. Okay, that means something we are doing in that particular component. That is how you need to do the debugging. Okay, so you need to click on each and every component and you can see the output that is there till that particular component. So here I have two results, but when I came to the filter, I'm getting only one result. So this is where the output is getting changed. Like that you need to debug, and if that is not the expected, then you need to go to that component and try to fix it. Got it?
Will this work if we are imported something also? So suppose before that we are, instead of proposition data, we are importing something from outside.
Hmm. Something from outside means I didn't get that.
Means a data set or something we have kept. Then
Hmm. Right. So then, like I told, right, any component that you keep in the strategy, the output will be displayed for that. So even if you are importing something from outside, also that component you will add it, right? For example, data import, where you are importing data from outside tables. So you will see the data, the output that is there at this component level. So if this component level output is fine, but once you came here, output is wrong. That means something is wrong in this component level. So you need to debug that way. Okay. So whatever components are there in the strategy, that component output will be displayed. For example, in the first component itself, the output is wrong. That means you need to check wherever you are using the strategy, there itself the output is coming wrong. That is what you need to check. Okay. So
Ravi,
strategy can be used in some places like in data flow, and it can be used there. So you need to check there only, because in the first component itself, the output is coming wrong. So you need to check where the strategy is getting called, the references you have to check, and you have to see the value there. That's how you need to. Okay, sorry, someone has a question.
Ravi, quick question. So this filter component, can we use the primary context class properties also? So let's say, for example, if
Right,
I'm offering a
right. So
specific credit card, if your annual household income is, let's say, for example, 100,000, then only you
right,
will be offered this card. Otherwise, system will
correct.
automatically will not offer that.
Yes, yes. So that's how we will be using it. That's how we will be using the filter component. So by default, the component will always use the context of the previous component. Okay, so here the filter is connected from proposition data component, right? So propositions will always have what context? SR class context will be there, right? So that means we have already seen that yesterday. For example, it will have the context class as cdh dash sr dash sales dash credit cards. That is your application id dash sr dash sales dash credit cards. That is the context of filter, because it will always have the context of the previous component. So that is the reason whenever I am clicking on the dot, whatever the previous class context is there, that class properties will be displayed here. Now instead of this, if I want to use the customer class properties, I just need to say primary dot. So when I come here, right, for example here, okay, here. So since since this strategy is in the customer class already, I can just say primary dot. Okay, see, I say primary dot, and I see all the properties that are there in the customer class. You see, for example, annual income greater than 5,000, something like that, whatever the requirement that you have. So like this, I can use the properties from the primary class or the incoming component class. That's the SR class. So the remember this thing. Strategy can use the properties only from whatever the applies to class is there, and the SR class. That's it. Only from these two classes only we can use the properties. Again, see, as we progress, you will only understand that. But yes, like for your question, yes, you can use the properties from the primary class. That is a customer class here. Okay, simply you just need to say primary dot annual income greater than 5,000, primary dot age greater than 50, like that. Okay, since the strategy will execute for each and every customer, so for depending on that particular customer's annual income, this logic will be executed. So like this, you can say primary dot, and you will select the customer properties. That's what you will do. Okay, yeah. So we'll see that tomorrow in the tomorrow session. We'll see that. Okay.
Ravi, what is this proposition filter?
Yeah, proposition filter we'll see in the coming sessions. Yeah, that's again a different concept. Okay.
Ravi, can you share the assignment?
Yeah, I'll share the assignment for everyone who has enrolled. Yeah, today you'll get that. Okay, because since we are still going through the demo sessions, I did not upload, but yeah, today we will share it to everyone. Okay, I'll include the assignment to use some scenario for strategy also, so that you can practice the components that we discussed today. Okay. Okay, so just check your drive, and I'll share the assignment, and please start practicing them.
Yeah.
And
We
again,
have
like I told, if you don't want the backup option, please use the community edition. Community edition will be there for 30 days. You can practice whatever we are discussing in this session. Everything you can practice in the community edition without always taking the backup. At least till Pega decisioning is completed. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
we haven't received drive link, Ravi, and previous
Yeah.
recording
Drive I
class.
have uploaded today only. I'll send it to all of
Yeah, sure.
you. All of them will get today. Okay. The assignment and recordings, everything will be shared. Whoever has enrolled. So whoever did not enroll, please kindly go ahead and enroll. So you have the confidence. You will have the recordings. Everything will be there. So even if you don't understand, even if you have missed the session, you can go to the session and go through that. You will also get the PPTs as well. So the PPTs also has the same information. Okay, so see you all tomorrow with the continuation of the strategies topic.